My name's Monica Newland, and I am the artist in residence for the city of Chicago. And what I have here, you're in the Social Fiber Project space. And the way I've really described it is as a sort of seraglio of creative sequester. And one of the things that we really have going on in the space is this, it's a meditation on abundance. And it's really bothered me for a long time that everybody gets up in the morning, they check their phone, they check their computer, they look at the news, they got bad news. And I really think that something that's been crucially missing in our society is a way to collect evidence over time of human goodness, of human generosity, and of humans' willingness to work together, to contribute, and to sort of pluck themselves out of their daily routine and really meditate on a lot of the things that are very true and just decent in all of us. And so as an artist, one of the things that I'm really looking for is the proof. And so I really think of this space as kind of a laboratory of proof, timeline. I think of a lot of the work that we're doing as a timeline that collects evidence. So what you see behind me right here is, this is a piece that we've done in the last 4.5, 5 weeks. This is the evidence of about 900 weavers who physically come into our space. And beyond that, those 900 weavers were using materials that have been donated to us by a number of people that I can't even really count. So we started the project with no looms, no materials, and our goal was to create evidence of human goodness and human abundance. And so over a process of about 9 months, talking to various people in the city and various communities, we got a bunch of old looms, some of them that needed fixing. We started crowdsourcing materials and getting the word out that we were accumulating, looking for recycled clothes, recycled fiber, and that all culminated and came into being really crystallized in this space where we basically work about 35, 40 hours a week. We are open to the public. It is no appointment necessary. And so the beautiful part of it is that this project really sneaks up on you really quietly. You don't wake up in the morning saying, today I'm going to go to weave, or I'm going to do social fiber, I'm going to learn about something. You wake up in the morning and you go about your business and you happen to come through this building and you come into this space and suddenly you're like, what is this? And so part of it has been this very gentle sort of incidental, people walk in. One of the things I've really noticed in our space is people say, can I touch stuff? Can I walk on stuff? And I'm like, it's all here for you. And everything that we have here has been placed here for you by other people that knew you were coming. And they're like, me personally? And I'm like, whoever came into the space, So people come in, they get a basic tutorial on weaving. And so here we have, here's a wonderful person. How long have you been weaving, actually? Today or what?
No.
Yeah, I know. You've been here, an hour and a half or so?
I don't know, actually more like an hour maybe.
Yeah, about an hour.
Yeah.
So people come into the space, we give them a brief tutorial on, depending on what they're interested in, some of the mechanics of the loom. I really try to be very sensitive to the individual. So if they're interested in a lot of technical information, I'll tell them technical information. If their eyes glaze over after a few lines, I'm like, okay, let's talk about the expressive, interactive, intuitive parts of the process. So weavers come in and cumulatively add to this timeline. They can select any material throughout the entire space. All the baskets here, we'll take a little walk. All these baskets, it's actually the first thing that you see when you come into the gallery. These baskets are just all placed here as invitations, as provocations to say, what have you got? And I mean, whatever you've got, even if it's just a little piece of something, people deposit it. I've had people who have professional jobs downtown that maybe have knitting as a hobby. On their way to work, they hear about it, they drop something by. We have seniors in the Renaissance program across the street that live in some senior housing. They come over all the time, and they're weaving. We've had, you know, every summer camp in town, essentially, that's come through the cultural center. And people give what they have. I mean, it's really amazing. I've really been captivated by the process of giving for people. And a lot of people donate fabric or old clothes that they have. And I'll tell you a beautiful story. We have so many tourists in the summer, and we had a couple that was visiting here from California. They were staying in Chicago for, I think it was about 3 weeks, maybe a little less than 3 weeks. They discovered us on the very second or third day they'd come into town. They came in every single day, and they spent time in our space. They would take home fabric to their hotel room. They would shred the fabric and turn it into these great little balls in their hotel room. They would come here, they would learn how to weave, they would learn how to spin, and they came back every single day. And like, we became like this extended family for them, essentially. Wei Mei was 84 and her husband was 85 years old. And they came on their last day, and they had come so often that I forgot that they were gonna leave, essentially. And so one day I was in the space, and they came and they tapped on my shoulder, and I said, "Hey guys, you know, what's up?" And they said, "We're here to tell you goodbye." And I realized, I mean, in that moment, the kind of things that can happen in a space like this, where you're rejecting the bad news, the war news, and you're really encouraging the other news, you know, the news that people are here, they're kind, they're abundant, they're helpful. And she said to me, "You know, you were my teacher." And I'm like laughing. I'm like, "I'm nothing." Like, you know, we hung out together. I love you. It's so great that you've been here. And she said, "No, you know, you taught me how to spin yarn." And she said, "I'm going to spin for the rest of my life." And she said, "I really don't need the yarn, so I'd like your address, and I'll just spin every day and I'll send it to you." So it's just, life is small victories. And so I think this is really the Small Victories Project. It's not really about me. It's about them.